YouTube. This is Too Raw for TV. So, just want to share this. ESPN put out their top 100 Major League Baseball players of all time. And one thing I will say about Major League Baseball, they do a better job of honoring and cementing their legends and holding them in high regard, rather, than how the NBA has done, where they've forgotten them. You got analysts on TV who are shock jocks, always trying to downplay the legends of the 50s and 60s and 70s, and that's why so many younger people have such low regard for them, which is bullshit and just whatever. But I find it interesting that the two most notable snubs in the voting, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, who many voters who are also journalists say are not Hall of Famers, have Roger Clemens ranked as the 17th greatest baseball player in the history of the sport, and Barry Lamar Bonds as the 8th greatest player in the history of the sport. My opinion, I think Barry Bonds is arguably the greatest player, or at least top two. So they hold them in such high regard, even despite the allegations, which have never been proven, right? These allegations have never been definitively proven, only suspected. They use alleged. Alleged. I was talking to a brother about this who also shares, you know, strong feelings about this snub. He made a good point. Why is it that Barry Bonds is such a widespread uh, villain when it comes to this whole thing, right? Because of you suspect that he used steroids, but we know that the New England Patriots cheated at least three different occasions when it comes to games, including the Super Bowl. They cheated. We know the Houston Texans, uh, not Houston Texans, excuse me, the Houston Astros cheated. They cheated, but they're not going to take away that World Series title. They're not going to take away any of the Patriots Super Bowls. We know Tom Brady himself tried to get a competitive advantage by deflating footballs because he thought they would give him a better grip on the football. No one's taking away any of his MVPs. No one's going to take away any of his Super Bowl titles. He's still Tom Terrific. None of these, situations where he was caught cheating and was suspended by the NFL, none of these have ever been attached to him like an albatross. You know, these things won't stay attached to him like they will be to Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. So they don't take away any of their honorifics, but they will take away the Hall of Fame honors from Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. I find it interesting. You have them the 17th and the 8th greatest players in the history of the sport, but they're not in the Hall of Fame. I didn't even check to see what Pete Rose is. Pete probably like top 30. Also not in the Hall of Fame. And I still say this. Pete Rose did bet on baseball, but he was a manager when he did it. Put him in as a player. He never did it when he was a player. Put him in as a player. This is how you know Major League Baseball is full of shit. Kennesaw Mountain Landis, right? Kennesaw Mountain Landis acquitted if my memory serves me correctly, he acquitted both Ty Cobb and Tris Speaker for allegedly betting on baseball in the late 20s, even though there was evidence to show, at least circumstantial evidence to show, that they did allege, but it was not hardcore evidence. But it was enough to arouse suspicion. But Kennesaw Mountain Landis acquitted them, which of course made them eligible for the Hall of Fame, even though both of them were racist pieces of shit. Tris Speaker, of course, even being a member of the Ku Klux Klan. But circumstantial evidence, anecdotal evidence, is enough to keep Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds out. So that's all I got to say in this video.